Top of the morning, everyone. My name is Tshidi and I'm back with a brand new video. Today's video is best manager interview questions and answers. How do you interview a manager? And if you are the manager that's being interviewed, what are the ideal answers that you should actually provide? This is tailored for people that are either one, you might have never been a manager before and you're looking for a management role, or two, you're already a manager and you're going for a management role interview. The thing that you need to also understand about management interviews is it's not just about whether you're capable technically, it's about being able to say, can you showcase some of your experience in making sure that you drive some of the vision for the company as well as the vision for your team and making sure that you're able to handle the first question is, how do you define good leadership? Understanding what it means to be a good leader is one of the most important things for anybody. One of the things that I always say to people is that sometimes being a good leader is just being a decent human being. That's one of the first things. The second thing that you also need to look at from being a good leader or understanding how to be a good leader is, can you inspire the team? So an ideal answer in this scenario is good leadership is about inspiring the team, driving the right results and making sure that they're able to deliver the company's requirements as well as setting a vision. It's about being able to say, what do we want to achieve over the next period of time? Because if you're not able to set a vision as well as a way in which you're going to achieve some of those things, in most cases, the team ends up having to drive that themselves. The next thing that you also need to look at is speaking about ways in which you can then remove obstacles. It's about saying, my job is also to make sure that we remove obstacles from the team and make sure that they feel supported and valued. That is an ideal answer. It should cover some of those things. I'm not saying everything that should be there should be exactly what I've just said, but what is important is pick up on some of those things to see is, number one, can they speak about the vision? Can they speak about removing obstacles? Can they speak about motivate or as well as providing support for the team that they're actually looking after? The next question that you can ask is, can you describe a situation that you had to handle a conflict within your team? This one is actually looking at conflict resolution. In most cases, there's also this question that's been asked to you as a candidate to say, how do you deal with conflict? For this one, it's about saying, how do you then take a situation where two people in your team are struggling or they're actually dealing with issues? How do you make sure that they get to the same page to deliver what the company requires? The easiest way to actually deal with this one is, number one, is being able to say, in my last role, I had two people that actually had a clash of ideas and they couldn't get to the same page. They were working on the same project, and one of the jobs that I had to do was to make sure that they get to a point where they're able to see each other's vision because both of them had great ideas. I was then able to then put together a meeting, and in that meeting, we allowed each one to present what they think was their ideas, so that after that, we can then go back and looking at how do we then combine these two ideas to make sure that they're able to deliver on that particular project. One of the things I've learned is making sure that you don't always say yes, but it's always saying yes and yes and allows the people to first listen to each other, understand what each other's issues are, and make sure that they address those with a solution to that person's problem. Because in some cases, you'll find that a lot of them, they've got the same type of ideas and you're able to give them the same room to share those ideas without interruption and or without any conflict. You're able to then come into a hybrid solution that works for both parties. The third question is, how do you motivate your team? This one about motivation is about we probing to understand, do you have ways of inspiring a team? Do you have ways of making sure that the team understands where they're trying to go? Do you have ways of driving the team to deliver the results without them feeling like you're micromanaging them? That is the question about how do you motivate. And an effective response is about saying, I believe in tailoring motivation to the individuals. To be honest, if you're a good manager, one of the things that you'll understand is people are different. Some people love to be praised publicly. Some people love the idea of being told, listen, you're doing a fantastic job, and you speak to them based on that, and because that's what motivates them and that's what drives them. Some people would like to actually be taken on one-on-one and to be told, listen, these are some of the most amazing things that you've been able to deliver. You've done this, you've done that, and speak about those things to that individual so that they are aware of it. One of the other tips that we also have is to make sure that you never bash anybody publicly. That is the worst thing that you can ever do as a leader. So what you're looking for is specifically, can this leader talk about how they make sure that they identify and understand each one of their team members and make sure that they drive, the right type of results based on the conversations that they've had with each one of the team members. One of the other things that you can also look at, you might have somebody who's a graphic designer on the team, and this person loves to learn. They love to learn new ideas. The answer that could be is, I have a lady called Justine. Justine loves learning new things, loves learning with new tools. And one of the things that we've actually done is paid for her Adobe courses to make sure that she's able to do this. Best thing that we've seen out of that is, one, she's motivated, she's coming up with brand new ideas, and she's able to, showcase what she's learned over the last couple of months on the different courses. So it's tailored for that person. Some people don't want that. Some people want to attend conferences. Give them that so that they're able to actually attend that. Number 4, how do you handle underperforming employees? That is the last question that you normally have. Two things that you're actually looking at it is, one, are they able to balance being able to address the issues directly, or are they being able to actually be fair in that process? Can they talk about how they deal with underperforming employees? The best way is is to make sure that can they identify what is actually the real issue. And if somebody says to you, the first thing that you'll actually do is look at what the issues are, look at what the underperformance areas are, have a one-on-one discussion with that individual to make sure that you address those. Once you have addressed those, then you are able to then take the next step to say, do we then say goodbye to this person? But we cannot say goodbye to the person without actually identifying the underlying issues, setting realistic, measurable goals, and making sure that they actually are taking those, as well as the improvement. When they improve, you need to make sure that you highlight that. And on top of that, make sure that you also provide resources. And you need to also be able to make sure that you highlight to them they have your support. This is one of the best ways in which you can answer that question. But if the person does not showcase that, one, they've identified what the real issue is, number two, that they've had one-on-one conversations with the people that are underperforming, or number three, that they've put realistic measures into that particular scenario, that means they haven't really dealt with an underperformer. They've made a decision without actually dealing with that particular scenario at that time. Once again, those are the top 4 questions that you can ask people that are going for any leadership position. It allows you to understand whether they can actually look at the challenges and the opportunities that exist within that particular space, and can they showcase the skills that they've learned over the time frame that they were a leader or that they're trying to become a leader. Top of the morning once again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.